Save democracy.
Yeah. I'm glad nothing happened while I was gone. Thanks, news. Thanks for keeping it simple. I appreciate that.
I did not authorize 2 weeks. I am.
Yeah. That's the problem with loving what you do. You end up doing it during your vacation. So I was following along with all of this crap. Yeah.
Look at us nerds.
That's me.
You're wearing a T-shirt with a bike on it, and I'm wearing my bike because we're nerds. But
this is from Mr. Buzz Burbank. This is a birthday present. This is my therapist bicycle. My therapist. Yeah.
First day back on my bike in 5 weeks. Very exciting. Okay.
Excellent. Hey, congratulations.
Oh,
that's great.
Well,
it'll feel great. I'm sure it will.
I'm getting remarried to my bike seat. Okay. Hey, Bob.
Hi.
You retweeted somebody saying, "Oh, there's I was disappointed there wasn't a lot I didn't already know," and you just said these hearings aren't for those of us who already are fully engaged. I mean, the 60% of people that are saying they're watching this, a lot of them, you're right, as you always say, they don't marinate in this like we do. I mean, this is actually shocking news to a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, you have to imagine there are only several million of us, and it may sound like a lot out of context, but we follow along with the news all the time. But there are I think there's 110 million Americans, non-voting Americans, who don't participate in the political discourse or who aren't on Twitter 24/7, and they're seeing some of this stuff for the very first time. So it's so important, especially given the revelations of the last two hearings, yesterday and then Cassidy Hutchinson, while I was away on a break, trying not to pay attention.
Entirely too long a break.
Yeah, but oh my God, where do you even begin with what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
I guess you could start with Rudy Giuliani wandering by himself in the cabinet room.
And Meadows having to make sure he didn't circle back to the reference. Like literally walking him outside. To the gate. Yeah. Right, yes.
I would bet cash money that Rudy was standing around in the cabinet room without any pants. Like just pants around his ankles, doing the penguin walk.
I was in the cabinet room. That was pretty cool. All by myself. By the way, how many bar bouncers can say the same thing? I escorted him out, so I knew he didn't circle back.
But I mean, we joke, but it was so deadly serious. What was the intention of this entire thing?
And in the Oval Office of the United States of America. I mean, you just these nutters, right? I mean.
Right. Well, I've been saying for some time now that the intention with what happened at the Capitol wasn't just to protest, wasn't just to go in there, wasn't just to execute members of Congress, which is what they were planning. I mean, they were talking about firing squads, for God's sake, extrapolating Trump's language out into, that means firing squads. And they were going to hang. They had a gallows set up. I mean, so this was all part of the what we saw. But the overall intention, we have to be clear about this. They wanted to overthrow Congress. They wanted to supersede the Article 1 powers. And when I say they, I don't just mean the foot soldiers on the ground. I'm talking about Trump and Trump's inner circle in the White House. And we also have to be cautious, too, to not exonerate people like Patsy Baloney, who was part of that whole thing, and up till the last second formed that dividing line between the kooks represented by Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani and Mike Lindell and whoever that Overstock guy is, and then also the White House staffer. So they're trying to make it seem like it's two factions. Ultimately, for 4 years, we're talking about one faction of pro-Trump zealots.
Even the good guys didn't say anything, didn't speak out.
Exactly.
Right.
All that time, 4 years was a long time for people to go into the Trump administration and realize, oh my God, the Democrats are right about this guy. The press is right about this guy. Biographers are 1,000% right about this guy and his incompetence, his recklessness, his disregard for institutions, his megalomania, his tendencies toward being a tin pot dictator, for God's sake.
And how about them calling it the craziest meeting of the Trump White House? You're like, crazier than the nuke the hurricanes or buy Greenland or
the only thing
put bleach up your ass? Really? Crazier than
right. I mean, the only thing I wish is there was videotape. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. I think that's the puzzle piece. In all seriousness, I think that's the puzzle piece we're missing. If there was videotape of either that oval room, wherever that, I guess the yellow oval room is where they ended up.
Yeah.
Almost getting into a fight between Eric Hirschman and the Overstock Guy for some reason. Has anyone talked about the Overstock Guy? I think this is the first time I've ever said Overstock Guy in the history of covering this story.
He has eclipsed my pillow guy in this rogues gallery. Yes.
I would pay cash money to see videotape of what went down in the White House on the evening of December 18th.
Did you get my Columbo reference? That's all I need to know.
Oh, you're Columbo? No, I have no idea.
Liz Cheney totally Columboed us. One more thing.
Okay.
One more thing, ma'am. That was kind of a one more thing. I mean, but I was saying he's such a mob boss that I guess it depends on what they have, right? If they just have a phone call and the witness didn't answer the phone or talk to him, he's just, I was just calling to say hello, like, I don't know what, it clearly is another count of obstruction, but can they prove it?
I mean, there were so many massive revelations from yesterday, but I would say that is the top shelf one, that Donald Trump was
right now,
tampering with witnesses. Yeah. I mean, we've heard about this happening lots of times before, but I think this is the first time we've heard information where Trump himself was interfering with a witness who had already testified to the 1-6 committee. What's my slogan going back to when he was president was Trump always makes things worse for Trump.
Yes.
This is like, he's like Walter White, where he in Breaking Bad, where he creates one lie and then his entire life is circulating around, lying to confirm the previous lie, and then the next lie has to be based on the previous. So he's constantly scrambling to create more lies to vindicate his previous lies.
Yeah.
And it's a mess. And so we're all getting the blood spatter from Donald Trump's constant fiction and this drive towards invading, occupying, and ultimately, I believe, overthrowing Congress in what whoever it was, the Oath Keeper said that this was a revolution.
Well, that's the other thing is they were named the 10 members of Congress that some of whom we already knew were involved in this. I mean, okay. Yes. Okay. So, Bob, you are back just in time to quell the Democratic infighting. You retweeted. Someone who said our immediate goal within the Democratic Party is to dump Biden, much as the anti-Vietnam War forces among Democrats set out to dump Johnson in 1967, which led anti-war candidates Eugene McCarthy and Robert Kennedy to enter the race. And you said, and then we got Nixon for 6 years. So, okay.
I can't. Honest to God, I can't believe we're having this conversation.
I know.
I mean, I'm not talking about you and me. I'm talking about just in general because we just came off the heels, Stephanie, of this devastating trampling of human rights in the United States based on two things. Based on the Supreme Court and Trump's justices that he appointed there. This guy who wanted to invade and overthrow Congress got to appoint 3 Supreme Court justices. That's an issue for a separate time. But they made this decision, this Dobbs decision, that originated in state legislatures. We are in a midterm campaign cycle where there are numerous state legislators up for re-election, running for state legislature, running for state senate, running as a state representative or state delegate, depending on your state. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about whether Joe Biden should run or not in 2024. Focus, people. We need to pay more attention to state legislatures. That is where all of the demonic, horrible things are happening in our country, whether it's voter suppression, whether it's these human rights violations against women, on down the line, trans, gay people. I mean, it's happening everywhere in state legislatures. And we suddenly we're going back. Yeah, we're going back to this obsession with the presidency.
Yeah, and particularly with what we're hearing this week. I mean, we got to vote in 22. There's not going to be a 24. As you said, somebody said, Jordan says impeaching Garland will be on the table if Republicans take the House. And you said, let's make sure they don't get the chance. It will be all Hunter Biden, all investigating the January 6th investigation. I mean, that's all they're going to do. And it is horrifying. It's
going to be impeachment palooza. They're just going to impeach. They're going to try to impeach everybody. Obviously, it's going to fail ultimately, but they're going to do it anyway. That's the entire thing. They would just it's a party that's based on a bunch of awful things, including revenge. That's what they behave based on. Revenge. Well, you did this to us, so we're going to do it right back to you.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the driving force behind impeaching Merrick Garland, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, obviously. They'll probably do a couple of those if they get a chance.
Yeah.
So,
and as somebody tweeted,
yeah.
you retweeted someone who said, wait a minute, now that sky-high gas costs have been going down for a month, it seems Fox News is suddenly worried that the dropping prices could hurt mom-and-pop gas stations. And you said between this and, there are too many jobs, it's an amazing emergency rooms aren't seeing more whiplash victims in red hats. I mean, it is. And now the January 6th hearings, right, they're just like, oh, look over there again at inflation. I mean, it's
yeah. I think our instinct, and this is certainly my instinct sometimes, is to try to like figure out how could people go along with such nonsense where suddenly we want higher unemployment, we want fewer people working and jobs. Is that what the Republicans? But don't go down that road, because all they're doing right now is geared toward one thing, which is to continue to say that the radical left Democrats are going to destroy America and we need to stop them. It doesn't matter. There was a conference a couple of weeks ago where there were members of the United States Senate, Republican members of the United States Senate, talking about, following the sounds of the guns and load up and get your combat boots on and all this. They're talking in eliminationist military rhetoric, preparing for some sort of, and I'm kind of trampling on Malcolm Nance's territory here, so sorry, Malcolm, but this is what they're driving toward.
I think the guy, do we have that audio, the Oath Keeper, that basically said he's afraid of the same thing Malcolm Nance says he's afraid of what's going to happen next, about that this is an ongoing insurgency of the next election cycle.
And this is all of the nonsense, the talking points, the ridiculous framing of gas prices and unemployment. This is all just window dressing that backs up their militaristic drive to kill Democrats. These videos that we're seeing more and more of, whether it's Eric Greitens or, Rand Paul going back a few years, where they take the AR-15s and either shoot legislation they don't like or shoot policy they don't like, or in some cases, they shoot rhinos, they shoot Democrats, that we need to take that a little more seriously, I think. And
I must say,
gear our politics toward the notion that our opposition is interested not just in defeating us, but in destroying us, making sure that we are no longer a factor in American politics. And that's kind of horrifying.
By the way, you had my favorite reaction to Herschel Walker's climate change thoughts. You just said, good Lord. Good Lord.
Yeah, well, see, that's a great example. It doesn't matter how what Herschel Walker says or what Mehmet Oz says or where Mehmet Oz is from and the whole rest, what Sarah Palin is apparently back and running for Congress. It ultimately doesn't matter the doofus things that they say, because Republicans will still vote for them en masse, because they know that no matter how often they privately say Herschel Walker is not up for the job, they don't care, because they know that or they believe that Democrats are trying to.
That being said, he's down by 10 points. So good job so far. Exactly. Don't get happy, Georgia. All right, love you both. I'm happy because you're back.
Yay!
The Bob Cesca Show.
So good to be back.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to do it on my bike ride.